Well, hey, this is Junior, and thank you for pressing play. Welcome to my channel. So in September-October timeframe of 2020, during the COVID lockdown, I took about 5 weeks off. It was a sabbatical that I took from work. And I decided to go to Idaho and do a little mountain biking. So I loaded up my truck with all my bikes, and I went ahead and headed across the northern Arizona desert all through Nevada and on my way to Idaho. So I ended up in Kellogg, Idaho, and I stayed at the Silver Mountain Lodge. I hooked up with the guys at Coeur d'Alene Bike One right there in town in Kellogg. These are great people. They turned me on to an amazing trail called Caribou Ridge Trail. As you can see from the map, it's relatively extreme. I think they call it a double diamond. I'm not going to argue with that. It's got a lot of exposure. You're going to love the video. Off the I-90, you'll take the 97, which is going south towards Eddyville. So you'll head up Beauty Creek Road right off the 97, and it isn't about a half a mile on the right-hand side. You'll run into Beauty Creek Campground. So once in the campground there, I went ahead and staged near the restrooms. These are Volt-style restrooms, by the way, so don't expect running water in the restrooms or anything. But you can park there, and I'd let the host know that you're up there mountain biking, just so that they know. I decided to use my e-bike for this. This is my downhill e-bike. It's a Hyabike 8.0 downhill. And I did that because I couldn't shuttle myself, and I knew I had about 4 miles of paved road and gravel road to go up a few thousand feet. So you can see by the map that the blue is the road that you've got to ride. The red is the trail coming back down. You can drive this if you wanted to shuttle yourself. You can drive right to the trailhead. Well, once on this trail, it is amazing. It is absolutely amazing trail. It's got a lot of fast flowy stuff, as you can see by the video. And you do get quite a bit of exposure and some switchbacks. And you are going to have to cross a few logs because they do get some windstorms up in here, and it knocks some logs down. So occasionally you're going to hear me use my bell, and you'll see me clap my hands and stuff. I was told by locals that sometimes hikers will come up this, and since I had a long pedal to get up there, I knew that there could be hikers that I missed that were coming up that trail, and I really didn't want to startle them, so I was using my bell. But I was also informed that there are bear, mostly black bear, that are in the area. And I didn't want to startle a bear that might be with her cubs or something like that. I certainly didn't want an issue. But you can see by the video here, I ran into a pile of dust on the trail. And thankfully, that ended up just being a herd of elk that I kind of spooked off the trail. But it did get my attention, so I continually used the bell here. I apologize for it being in the video, but I had no choice. So this flowy trail section is probably about 40 minutes or so. I edited it down to just 8 or 10 minutes of video, but I wanted to show you how fast and flowy this is. It's really fun. It's got a lot of little hip jumps and just some little natural jumps that you can make some good doubles out of and stuff. There's a lot of fun on this trail. Once you get down where it drops off, though, it's still fun, but you're not going to be traveling at this speed. It's got a lot of exposure, and it's a couple thousand foot vertical, and you're on the edge of the cliff on these switchbacks going back and forth. And I'll be honest with you, I walked a couple of sections because I couldn't get over the outcropping of rock. And you'll see that I also went over the bars. I just lost my front end. I came over a little hip and I let the front end get too far to the right, and it grappled me out and sort of rolled me over the bars. But as far as a trail goes, I'd come and do this thing. I do this 4 or 5 times a year if I lived in the area. Unfortunately, I don't. But you got to go up and hit this thing if you're a single diamond or an intermediate rider. Will be just fine on this trail. This is not an extreme pro style trail in my opinion. And if you felt uncomfortable with the switchbacks, there are a couple of trails that are down to the right, which I'm going to cover in another video that I brought my family back to do, but those are fast and flowy and don't have the switchbacks, but they take you all the way down the same elevation, just in a different direction. the trail changes here all of a sudden as you get towards the bottom. You're now near the river, and it changes from the dry exposure on the edge of that cliff. It just instantly dumps out back into the woods, and it's a small little flow section, and then it crosses the creek, and boom, right there is the campground. Well, if you made it this far in the video, I want to thank you for watching the entire thing. I hope you got something out of it. I had an absolute blast on this trail, and I highly recommend it for everybody. If you shuttle or you e-bike it up, or if you've got the legs to crank an enduro all the way up that, then power to you, man. But I appreciate you pressing play and watching the video. Have a wonderful day.